morning. Would you please stand to pledge allegiance?
I understand that, but well.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk?
Under resolutions, need a motion to approve the Job and Family Services bills for payment.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Appropriations.
So move.
I'll second.
Discussion?
There may be some discussion. There may not be.
Yeah. I believe number 9 of 10. I got that
Okay.
afterwards, so I don't know, it's Jim. I think Jim signed it off yet, so. It is $3.5 million for general fund transfer out for additional appropriation to further strengthen the 03 general fund finances. See attached, and all I had was what's this right here, just a spreadsheet, so I didn't understand
We
what that
well,
meant. Help me out.
we had some additional revenue at the end of last year. We discussed that we were uncertain of what the complete carryover was going to be coming into the new year. After the commissioners completed the arduous task of the 2003 budget, and the final numbers were in from returns from various funds and the complete revenue for the year, we had some additional unappropriated monies, and we are asking that that money be appropriated to these various accounts.
It won't go directly to the account. It'll go in a separate pot, and then later these accounts will be paid off,
Yes.
correct?
What we're doing is we're just allocating the money, but we're not spending it, correct?
Right.
Correct. No expenditures here, Commissioner. It all comes back to you again.
And where's it, okay, there's a 3.5, it goes into, okay.
In other words, we're appropriating that money
That's
to a
correct.
specific account.
Correct.
And at a given time, we may or may not see a requisition.
Correct.
Okay.
This is for planning purposes, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mrs. Vacy?
Okay, I understand that these are not payments of discretionary money spending at this time, but merely a transfer into another line item account, right?
Correct, Commissioner. Fully under your control for future expenditures, should some become necessary. Again, these are just for planning purposes, for
Correct.
long-term planning.
I would move to approve with the following
I think
exceptions.
there's already been a motion.
Just a point of order, Madam
Oh, I'm
Chair.
sorry.
You made the motion, and I second it.
Well,
So
go
we don't
ahead.
have
I
to
thought
do
we
that
were
again.
voting. Sorry.
No, we're talking yet.
Go ahead.
Well, no, you have some exceptions.
Yes. Well, I'm following the way I voted on the budget, so. And some of these will be earmarked, is that correct? John? Well,
Well, here, why don't I make it easy? I'm not happy with where it's being allocated either, but that's another discussion for another day, it sounds like. Is that true?
Correct, Commissioner.
Okay.
This money can be moved time and time again, depending on the desire of the
So
board.
I look at it as more as a housekeeping maneuver. That's why I'll support it the way you did it. I'm not going to support the way the money's going to be spent. That's another discussion for another day.
That's correct,
Thank
Commissioner.
you. I think that was is that your concern too?
that's my concern. Okay, where are we at?
Ready to vote?
Discussion, we're done, right?
Are you done discussing?
I think we are.
Want to take the vote,
Mrs.
please?
Vacy?
Okay, I will vote yes.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Transfers.
So move. Was there a question under transfer? John, I think you wanted to hold something under the transfers?
No, Commissioner, I would stand by these
You're okay?
suggested allocations. Yes, I'm okay with those.
There
Okay,
was a note
thanks.
on there, John.
Which number is that, 8 of
The
13?
item
number.
8 of 13, and your recommendation to Mr. Cordez was that it would be held, well,
You needed further
maybe
information?
this
Oh,
isn't
maybe it's a
even
different-
timely note. It says to be held until 2603, which is today, I guess. The Budget Department will work on that. Now, have you worked on that?
Oh, I'm sorry, is this the recorder's
Yes.
request? Oh, I'm sorry, I was on a different item. I would still hold that, and I'm working with Mary Ann Jameson to resolve that. In fact, we should be getting together today on that. So I would recommend to the board that be held temporarily.
Okay.
And she has no problem with that either.
It's over. Okay.
So that's 8 of 13. I guess Commissioner Vacy made a motion to approve
Yes,
the transfers.
and to hold number 8.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
Any more discussion? Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
There was a couple more that weren't signed by you in here, in the transfers. This one had,
Okay, I didn't see
that one there
these.
didn't have any commissioner signatures, and this one here only had Commissioner Blair's. Number 12 and number 13.
I didn't see this one. It wasn't in the packet when I looked.
Okay.
What was 13?
Now it's,
This is 13. Do you have 12?
so we're voting on transfers before we get the requisitions? Because this one here, I'm voting on a transfer of money. Yeah, we haven't even discussed the requisition of the money.
It's on the requisitions today. Excuse me, which one are you speaking about? Not this one, but the other one that she has?
This is the transfer.
You didn't say this one.
This
Uh,
one's for the airport. This one here is for the airport. Allowing them $150,000 out of the $300,000 that we appropriated.
I'm not even sure.
Are you looking at 13 of 13?
Looking at 13 of 13, I was really looking at 12 of 13, which is a transfer of funds.
The larger one, 13 of 13, is simply moving the money from the global accounts that were approved in the budget to the specific spending accounts as required by the auditor's office to be able to access those funds that were approved in the budget. So this is another one of those housekeeping things that we do usually in January or early February to be able to access the funds that were approved in the budget.
Yeah, but I disagree, because I don't think, even though we put everything in the, well, what's the column we did right here? This is called the discretionary spending.
Right.
I don't think we ever came to a consensus on how to do that. Or do you agree or disagree?
Well, there's some things that...
There was consensus maybe, or?
I believe that there was, if you look at the list in front of you, you'll see that 98% of those items were agreed to by at
Okay.
least a majority of the board.
Okay.
We're starting to get invoices from people that believe that they've been allocated funds, and we need to move them into an area that we can access those funds to be able to properly administer it.
Okay, so that's how you're doing this then? As long as you see an agreement on the spreadsheets, you're going to move forward?
I believe that's what John and I spoke about.
That's exactly right.
Okay. I just want to make sure. That's on 13 of 13, which is, here you go. Thanks. I had no other discussion. This is just on transfers we're voting on.
Right. Mr. Moore?
Oh, my last vote? Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
You want to sign that or no?
Well, that's where I wanted to make the exceptions. But
Well, you
you
already
took the vote
voted, though.
already?
8 of 13, wasn't that the only one?
Yeah.
Well, let me see that again, please.
That was on transfers.
Where's the other?
Other
On
one's
top?
number 12, right there.
John, 12 is the airport. 150,000 to the airport, 150 out of the 300 that was approved.
Allocated for operations, that's correct. This would be half the allocation if the board so chooses to. appropriate this money, set it aside for payment.
Commissioner, normally, we've always done resolutions for them. This year, we required them to send us a requisition and an invoice to access those funds, correct, Mr.
That's
Wilkerson?
correct.
They have sent some paperwork indicating that their expenses are greater in the winter months than they are in the warmer months because of the need to salt and plow the runways. They initially asked for, I believe, a little bit over $200,000, and then through some evaluation, the Budget
Correct.
Department arrived at a $150,000
I
figure.
understand.
Right.
But now this money is not going to be given to them until we get a requisition, correct?
Yes, and it is on the requisition.
It is in the
Oh,
reps.
the airport one is, but
Yes.
what about the rest, the others that are in the transfers?
That would be,
I didn't see them in the requisitions, the other ones.
It would, let me go to John. It would depend on the type of department that it was. Things like the Chamber of Commerce, they send us a requisition. Main Street program, I think that may be one of those. I'm not completely sure of all of them. I don't have a total recall. They would send us an invoice. And we have a
Chamber,
procedures.
transit,
They would all send us an invoice for the funds. As far as transit, how have we been handling transit? I am not completely sure of how we've handled the funding to transit, John. Are you?
yes, it's been on a monthly payout basis to conserve our own cash flow.
Wasn't that part of the resolution? And in the past, it was. In past years, it was part of the approval process. When we gave
Right.
them X number of dollars, we indicated that we paid on a monthly
On
basis.
a monthly basis.
Right,
They've been
and-
agreeable
And
to
we've
that
adopted
also.
that as a policy for all payments that don't require, that don't have justification for bulk payment have gone to a 1/12th allocation in order to maintain the money here for interest rate purposes.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're okay.
That's all I had.
Okay. Advances and repayments, there was an advance for $247,000 to the CDBG fund.
Also move.
One second.
Discussion. Mrs. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Vacy?
Hi.
Requisitions.
So moved.
I'll second, but I have an
Discussion?
exception. Number 25803. Don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it's regarding the $150,000 for the airport, just so those that are here and at home wondering what we're talking about.
Well, thank you. Me too.
There's been something floating around our offices here for a while regarding the airport, and I asked Mr. Rokasi to prepare, kind of find out what we've been doing with the airport.
I have it.
Since we
Thank
bought
you.
it. It's right here, I don't think, do you have that? Okay. So anyway, purchased the airport in '99 through 2002. We spent about, we funded the airport about $1.889093 million for the airport authority. The FBO, we got about $2.33625. That's a total of $4.2 million on the airport. The issue I have regarding the airport is I believe the county needs it, but I don't believe the county should run business. I believe we should partner with private business, and I think Jim and Jerry has a copy of a lease agreement that we could actually lease out the airport and receive enough revenue to actually offset the cost of the personnel out there. Basically get government out of the airport business. We can own the airport or own the land, but we can lease it and have business run it. And instead of us, we just approved $150,000 today, well, an appropriation, it's on the requisitions. The fact is, the $300,000, the number that I came up with when we were doing the budget discussions, is they need about $562,000. The salaries out there are about $327,000 a year, and our budget calls for $300,000. When I got an email basically from the director saying, this is our information, the only thing I could send them back was to cut. But then, again, I think the bottom line here is either we're going to continue as a board to own and operate and use the taxpayers' funds of about $500,000 a year to fund this airport, or we're going to have private sector come in, which is there's a lot of opportunities out there, but we don't have to agree to do this. But I think what we need to do is I believe we need to advertise and get a RFP out there and see if we can actually get someone to actually do this, which is to plow the runways, mow the lawn, and operate the fixed-base operations. Let them make the money off this. Let private enterprises come in here and manage the airport. Let us own it. Let us get enough revenue so that all we need is probably 1 or 2 employees out there. to oversee the airport, and this is what I'm hearing out in the private sector, so I don't see our $4.3 million investment so far coming back to this county. I'd like to see it go back to the private industry.
I
So,
sense that what you're talking about is privatizing the FOB,
FBO.
FBO, and also the authority, correct? You're
The
talking
authority-
about
well, no,
both?
Well, I'm talking about trying to offset the funding of the authority right now, because the authority is who we're funding, and the FBO. We are funding both. What I'm trying to do is get enough revenue off the airport to help offset the expenses of the authority. That's what I'm trying to get at, so that the airport can at least break even, and we don't have to keep throwing tax dollars at the airport. Because it needs a new roof. What he's requesting is about $750,000. We got the helicopters out there, and they're leaking on it. We got multi-million-dollar jets inside there, and there's water leaking on these planes. It's only a matter of time before someone's going to say, I can land at another airport. So either we're going to have to spend another $1 million fixing up this airport, or let somebody else do it, and let's collect some rent. And the way we collect rent is off a percentage of the sales, is what we're getting right now. So all I'm saying is, I'd like to get the commissioners to agree, hopefully, to say, let the prosecutor's office review a RFP. Let's see if someone's willing to come in here and rent this facility so that we don't have to pay any more money to maintain and operate an airport. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking to make the decision to do it. I'm asking for a decision because I've seen the emails from the directors saying, hey, are we going to rent it out? What are we going to do? What's the future? Jim has responded several times saying, that he doesn't have the support to move ahead. So all I'm trying to do is say, let's move ahead, find out what's out there, see if we can at least have an operation out there that can break even, and so we don't have to continually dump $500,000 a year, plus another $750 to fix up the place.